Hello and welcome to Tabletop for One. Today I will be reviewing For What Remains by Dan Verson Games and designed and created by David Thompson, who is also known for designing Pavlov's House, Castle Itter, Soldiers and Postmen's Uniforms, and several other games. For What Remains is a skirmish wargame. As you can see, there are 3 different versions of the game here. I will be focusing on Out of the Basement, this one here. I do want to let you know that the folks at Dan Verson Games sent me this copy as a gift with no strings attached. They did not ask me to review the game, but I did want to disclaim that ahead of time. For What Remains, it can be played 1 or 2 players, and here at Tabletop for One, we will focus on the 1-player game. So let me go ahead and show you how the game plays. Now, when you set up the board, you use this scenario book, the campaign book here, and you pick out a scenario, and you set it up according to the map here. Now on the map, you'll notice that there are a bunch of numbers, and on the side there it tells you for solitaire play which characters, if they're AI characters, where they go on the map. Now here I have it set up here. Now this is going to be opposite because I chose to be the earthen characters, the green. And so on the map, the earthen characters start at the top there. So I've made the map completely opposite. And up here at the top, you'll see I've set up the order characters here. Got the Wraith there, Fallen, Abomination, Carnage, and another Carnage. And you'll notice when you have 2 of the same kind of character, you're going to have a different symbol in the bottom left-hand corner. Also, on these here, you'll see that they all have the little R here. That indicates that they are the recruit level. Also on the board are Scavenger Tokens. So 1 here, 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 and in the bottom corner there. There's 4 Scavenger Tokens. The goal of this particular mission is to score a total of 6 points, and you score points by holding a Scavenger Token or killing one of the enemy players. And on the side of the board, this is the way I set it up here. I set up each of the enemy cards here, tucked underneath their AI activation cards, according to their rank. So if the Carnage was actually a veteran, I would slide it like this, so I could see the veteran stats. And I'll go over that a little bit later. But there we go. I have them all set up here. And so as each one of them activates, I will know exactly how to play them. On the other side here, you're going to see I have all my cards set up here. Alright. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to set it up for a sample turn and show you kind of how that plays out. And then I will give you my thoughts about the game. Okay, here we are, several turns in, and as you can see, a lot has happened on the board. Now what you don't know is this guy right here, the Abomination. See how it has the strike through? That means that he's been injured. So on this side means he's healthy, this side means he's injured, and one more hit, he is going to go down. And then same with the Hellborn over here. He's carrying a scavenging token. I usually leave these on the tokens, the character tokens here. You can also put it on the character cards if it's easier for you. And we've got the Abomination here is engaged with the Carnages. We've got the Ion Core here sitting a little ways away. And the Death Vine right here. Now what happens is you get to choose for yourself what initiative tokens you want to use. And initiative tokens are are tokens, these tokens here, that you use to determine what guys you will activate during your turn. And what happens is you put them in a little black bag here. Just drop them in, alright? As well as randomly picking 6 of the enemy tokens. So I got, sorry. I've got 6 of them here, and they're going to get tossed in here. Alright, we're going to shake up the bag real good here. And then what happens is you draw a token. Alright, now here we go. We got the Abomination. Okay, that means the Abomination is going to act. Now normally what happens is that you're going to read this card here, and you're going to go and look at, is he engaged? Now he is not engaged. He would be in close combat or adjacent to another character, so he's not engaged. Is he injured? Yes, he is. Now he's going to move to the closest Nethermancer's weapon range. Well, there is no Nethermancer on the board, so we're going to skip that step there. And then normally, if you haven't already, you would roll for orders. Now I had previously rolled, and the roll came up a 6 or a 7, and so he is going to engage with Horrid Maw and move to the closest enemy and then close combat until defeated. So what that means, if you don't have the abilities memorized, there's handy sheets here. So what it does tell you right away here is you're going to engage, right? This is under orders here. Engage with the Abomination. So you can move to the closest group of enemies that it can engage. Try to be adjacent to thralls and carnages if the Abomination has cannibalized. And then use Horrid Maw. Now, because my Abomination is only a recruit level, he does not have cannibalize. So what he's going to do is he's going to move to the closest enemy right now, which is going to be the Death Vine here. So we'll go ahead and move. He's got a movement of 5, but he only needs to move 1 space here. And then he's going to use Horrid Maw. The Horrid Maw here is a close combat attack, and he has to use it anytime he makes a close combat attack. He cannot use a normal close combat attack, and he makes separate attack against each adjacent character, including allies. Now, he's not next to other allies, but he's going to go ahead and roll against my character. Now, I'm going to show you the card again here. He's doing a close combat attack. It means he's going to roll 4 dice here. Alright? Now, my Deathvine he's also a recruit. He has a defense of 4. Alright? So, all I have to do is roll higher than a 4 to hit. Okay? So, we're going to roll. We got an 8, a 7, and a 5. Obviously, that's a hit. So, the Deathvine is injured. Alright. Then we're going to move on. Draw another token. And look what we got. Deathvine. Alright. So, Deathvine. Sorry about that. He has the ability to constrict. He can do close combat or ranged combat. Alright. Well, now he's engaged with the Abomination. And so we're going to do a close combat attack. Here's the constrict. He can constrict the target when making close combat or ranged attack. If it's successful, the target is injured as normal and a constrict marker is placed on the target. Now, for this particular instance, it's not going to matter. If I hit this Abomination, the Abomination will die. Alright, so we're going to go ahead. I only get 2 dice. And the Abomination has 6 defense. So here we go. That's a 6. It does not hit because you have to roll higher than the defense. Alright, so Deathvine was unlucky. And we're going to go ahead and move on. Drawing another token. And we got the Ion Core. The Ion Core is pretty cool. He's got this thing called Cation Blast. And what it does is you're able to target within weapon range. He's got a weapon range of 5. Now he's going to target this Carnage here. And this Cation Blast, there's a target space here right in the middle, okay? So he's going to try and hit both of these guys at the same time. Now he's going to roll against each one. Now, just so you know, this could hit allies if allies were in the way. Alright, so Ion Core has a ranged combat of 2. And the Carnages have a defense of 4. So we're going to go for this first one here. And he's a hit. So we're going to flip that over. And the second Carnage here. And that's also a hit with a 6 there. Okay. So the Cation Blast was successful. And then we move on. Pulling the next token here. And we've got the Hellborn. Alright. Or Hellebore. I don't know how to pronounce it. Either way, he's right here. And so he's going to attack against the Wraith. Now the Wraith has a couple abilities I'll go over real quick here. The Wraith has Incorporeal here. So if he's injured by attack, roll a die. If it's 8 to 10, ignore the injury. It also has Mist. He can withdraw from enemy characters without granting free close combat attacks. He can move through blocking, difficult, and elevated and water terrain with no increased movement cost, but he cannot end his turn on a blocking terrain space. Alright, so for this instance, if I hit him, he could basically dodge that attack. So I've got a close combat roll of 2 dice, and we're going against a defense of 5. Rolling there, got a 10 and an 8. So he's going to flip, except he gets to roll a die. Alright, so here we go. That's a 4. Alright, so he didn't dodge that. And now he's going to be hit. And we go again. Trying the next one. And this is the Tremor. Alright, so I got the Tremor here. And what the Tremor does is he does something really cool here. Well, he would normally. If he was a veteran, I could do Shockwave. So in this case, I'm just going to do a close combat attack, which is 4, against this Carnage right here. I'm going to roll dice, trying to get above number 4. We got 7, 6, 8. Not a problem. He dies. Alright. So that is going to score my team a point right there. Okay. Moving on. We've got the red Carnage. He's still alive. And so he's going to go ahead and attack. Now, had his brother not died, he would have had this ability here. The Carnage can make a close combat attack. Add 1 die for each ally adjacent to the target of the attack. Well, his brother died, so he doesn't get that ability. Nevertheless, he's got close combat range or amount of 2 dice. And we're going to roll against the Tremor's 6 defense here. Alright? And we got a 7 and a 9. Now Tremor, he has Stone Skin, which is similar to the Wraith. So he gets to roll and see if he defends. And he does defend with a 9. So he does not get turned over. Good old Tremor. Moving on to the Fallen. Fallen here. Now, the Fallen I had already, like with the Carnage, I'd already determined what his orders were. And so he's got Engage with Charge, And charge allows him to move and attack. So he's got a movement of 5, but he's going to go ahead and move 1, 2 here. And he's going to attack the Hellbore. The Fallen has 3 dice. Hellbore has 4 defense. And there we go. Got a 10 and a 9. And that would be goodbye for the Hellbore. And drops the token there. Alright. That means the enemy also scored a point. And I lost a point because I was holding on to the token. That was a point for me. Now I've lost it. Alright. Geomancer. Now what I had planned for the Geomancer was to heal that Hellbore. But since the token got drawn late, he's not going to do anything. So I'm going to move him out of the way here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Moving on to the Fallen got drawn again. Now, with the tokens, when you select your tokens, you're able to select as many tokens as you have characters on the board. When you're selecting for the AI or drawing them randomly for the AI, depending on the difficulty level, you're going to select either the number of their characters plus 1, 2, or 3. In this case, I've been doing the +1, the easy mode. Alright, Fallen's going to move again. He's going to move a charge. Or actually, technically he'd roll for orders since he killed that guy. See, he completed that order. He close combat until defeated. He killed the Hellbore. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll a die. And he's got a 7, which means he engages with charge again. And so he's going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4. He's engaged with the Geomancer here. And he's going to attack the Geomancer, who only has a defense of 4. There we go, 10, 10. Well, that's that. So Geomancer gets hit. Alright. Moving on. Abomination is going to attack again. Alright, he's already engaged. So when he's engaged, you would roll 1 to, well, I mean, it doesn't matter what you roll. He's going to do Horde Maw to all characters and Cannibalize. Cannibalize, he doesn't have, but he's still going to go ahead and attack using 4 dice. Against the Deathvine, who has a defense of 4, hits him, and he's dead. They've now scored another point. And we got one final token here. It's the Carnage, who died. Since he died, this token doesn't matter. It now gets removed from the game and can't be drawn again. And I would remove the other 2 tokens from the random draw pile for them. And that is 1 turn. And you would do this until the victory conditions are met. In this case, a total of 6 points are scored on this particular scenario. As of right now, the score is 2-1 with the AI winning. All right. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and then I will talk to you about the rest of the game. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about For What Remains, and give you my thoughts on the game. All right. First, I want to talk about the production quality. For the most part, it's very good. There are some minor issues with the cut on the tokens being off-centered. In this particular edition, it's not as bad. I don't know if I can even find it. Here's one. So, as you can see, it's not centered on there completely. It really hasn't detracted from my gameplay at all. So that doesn't affect me. I like the fact that the art for each of the tokens is on there. For each of the characters is on the token itself. So it's going to match up with their character sheets, and it's not silhouettes or anything like that. So I really do like that. I like the art in the game. But back to the components here. The tokens are great. This tray does not come with the box. This you can buy from DVG Games, Dan Verson Games, separately. You can buy like a 5-pack of these trays. So I've got one for each of these boxes, and it works out really well. As you can see, it holds all the components except for the big ones here. I just put those loosely in the box. The card stock is great for the map. These look real nice. Double-sided. The rule book's real nice. Alright. So overall, the production is really good. Sorry, I had to step away for a moment. I had an upset 3-year-old. Alright, continuing on with the production quality, I just wanted to make one more small mention. These cards here. Now, you're supposed to roll and track, especially with the orders, which order they're on, whether they're going after the objective, or scavenging, or engaging. So, tracking these, it's hard to remember sometimes which one. So, I just use my own cubes that I have, and I just set it on there to track. I wish they would have included something that would make it easy to track, but it's a small thing. Going again with the art, I really like the overall graphic design and the art. As you can see, for each of the factions, you're going to get a booklet. It has a picture of one of the characters there. And the art is just, for me, I just really like it. It's a little quirky, I guess you could say. But it's fun, it's distinct. And again, it matches the tokens on the battlefield. And really gives a nice flavor to it. I especially like the art for the order. The earthen's pretty cool too. And like the Geomancer looks really cool. Tremor. And the overall design of the landscaping. So I really appreciate how clear it is. You know, this is difficult terrain. This is blocking terrain, so it's gonna block your line of sight. It also gives the feel of like what kind of battlefield you're fighting in. You know, this is like concrete or asphalt here. You also have some radiated mushrooms growing here or something. This is elevated terrain here, water here. You know, so it's very clear on these boards themselves what the terrain is and how it's going to affect your movement, your line of sight, defense, and all that stuff. So very good on the graphic design choices and the art. And then let's talk about the gameplay. So the gameplay of For What Remains revolves a lot around, you know, like the strategy of it revolves a lot around what you put in this bag. You know, you're allowed to put in as many tokens as you have characters on the field, but you can put in multiple of the same token. So let's say you had 5 characters on the field, but you wanted to activate one of them 3 times. Then you put 3 of that token in there, and 2 other tokens of, you know, whatever characters you want. The problem with that is the next round, you can't reuse those tokens. They have to wait a round. So they're exhausted for a round. And then you get to use them again the next round after that. And my cat's coming to say hi. Sorry about that. That shadow is my cat right here. And so so sometimes there's a little push your luck element to, choosing what tokens to put in there. Do I put 3 tokens in there? Well, what happens if they zero in on that character and blow them away? There's my cat. She just laid out. Yeah, so choosing my tokens, like if I choose a character, put 3 tokens in, and they shoot them before those tokens activate, I could lose that character, and that whole turn could be a waste. But at the same time, I could pull some amazing, like out of a action movie scene where I sprint across the battlefield, blow the heck out of everybody, and run away again. So those choices are very, very strategic, sometimes risky, and I really like the initiative draw. I really do. It adds a good element to the game. It's not just simply you take the turn you want to take. It's not simply you take turns at all. It's that you actually get to. There's a little random draw on this little bag, so it could be that your enemy player gets to pull 3 tokens before you get to even do 1. There's really a good element of suspense and everything there. The game itself plays out like you would expect on a turn-based strategy game on the computer, like XCOM or something like that. You have cover areas, you have elevated areas, you have area attacks, you have snipers, you have grenades, you have flamethrowers. So there's all sorts of different abilities you have on it. You can stun guys, like with Tremor's Shockwave. You can root guys with the Death Vine. You can drain life with the Nethermancers. You can summon thralls with the Nethermancers. You can cannibalize your own units with the Abomination, for extra attacks. And it's just a lot of really interesting character combinations, which leads me to the next category, and that's replayability. There is a lot of replayability in this game. Now, granted, you do have, only 5 scenarios in here that they give you for the campaign, and you can do an actual campaign that has effects that carry over. But you can also do these as one-offs, and also you can. I mean, this game is practically designed to be like moddable in any way you want. You can when you set up the game, you decide how many skirmish points you're going to use, and what that is each character costs a certain amount of points. So if you set up a game for 30 skirmish points, you could easily get several elite characters. If you look here, it's like we got 7, 12, 20, 31 points here if we went all of that. And you can have these big elite armies or a lot of different characters on the battlefield. You can set that up to where you have 15 skirmish points and the AI has 25. I mean, you can change it the way you want. The golden rule is, though, that when you act for the AI, that you do it in the most efficient and best possible way, according to their orders and movement and everything, so that it benefits them. But I mean, it works out real well. The AI is unpredictable at times and can be devastating. I probably lost 40% of my games playing the AI on easy mode. But it gets me back to the table every time. I played this game probably 10 times now, and I really enjoy it. I played all 3 core sets, and it's hard to pick a favorite. I picked this one for the review because I think that the two factions here were the most fun for me, but I like them all, actually. It's just there's some really good synergy between the characters in these factions here. My final thoughts on the whole review. So I really, really, really like this game. I'm starting to just really like skirmish games ever since I got Hiroshima Hex, which is also a 2-player skirmish, but I play it solo. I play against myself, and it's just a lot of fun. This one's right there up with it. I still might think I enjoy Hiroshima Hex just a tad bit more. Maybe because I like the puzzly nature to that one. But this one really, really gives you that interesting combat feel. The things also that I really like about this game, I mean, obviously the bag. The initiative draw is a really good feature. I love how the stats are tracked, right? So if I create an elite tremor here, he starts out with 3 tokens, you know? And so his stats at the beginning will be this right column here. But as he gets injured, you know, flips this over, he's still elite, but if he gets hit again, he's downgraded. And now he's a veteran, and so he's going to have the middle stats. And that might affect his abilities at the bottom. And it's really interesting because while you may keep your unit out on the field, you're going to lose abilities and my cat's back. You're going to lose abilities and stats. You might not be able to roll as much. You might not have as much defense or movement. So it's a really interesting way of tracking health, and a real thematic way of showing that health affects overall performance of each of the characters. So in the end, I give this game a 9 out of 10. It's a very good game. So the question would remain, is it worth it to get all 3? You know, when the content versus value, you know. Each game is going to cost, depending on if you get on sale or not, anywhere from $40 to $70. So with the amount of plays I've got out of it so far, it's definitely been worth it. I know I'm going to get a lot more plays. I've also played a 2-player with my 10-year-old son, and we've had a blast with it. So it's definitely worth the money for at least one. And you're going to get a ton of content out of just one. So I guess I would say if you were to ask me, should you get 1, 2, or 3? I'd say start with 1 and then be prepared to buy all 3 because they're really good. And each of the factions play so differently, have such different synergies. Some of them do more damage or affect other factions of different boxes. So there can be some interesting plays there. So yeah, I would say this game, by all means, if you like skirmish war games, get it. It's good. David Thompson, he's an excellent designer. He makes some great games. He's got the Valiant Defiance series, like I mentioned before. In fact, I believe he has a Kickstarter coming out next month for the 4th one. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'd say go for it. If you want this type of game, get it. Played solitaire. It's a whole lot of fun. Plays about 30-45 minutes, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, thank you very much for watching Tabletop for One, and have a great night.